Okay, so picture this scene. It's ancient, but we're not on Earth. We're way, way up in the highest celestial realms, the pure abodes. And there's this huge gathering of divine beings, devas. They're all there, and their attention is completely fixed on one single figure, the Buddha. What happens next isn't a lecture. It's this spontaneous explosion of praise, a chorus of absolute awe from the heavens that starts to unpack the very nature of enlightenment itself.
Now these beings, they're incredibly ancient and powerful, but they've all come here to witness a kind of wisdom that goes beyond even their own amazing existence. You can just feel the energy, the anticipation in the air. And then, one by one, they start to speak. They're trying their best to put into words a kind of wisdom that almost defies language, even for them.
And boom, right out of the gate, we get this incredibly powerful opening from the Diva Li Sheng, and this sets the tone for everything. This isn't just, simple praise. It's a really precise and profound acknowledgement of what the Buddha's insights are all about: cause and effect, emptiness, and the totally fearless way he teaches it.
So where do they begin? Well, they start at the very foundation of how we experience life, the law of cause and effect, or what we call karma. The Divas are just completely blown away by the Buddha's total clarity on this.
It's like the Buddha has this perfect vision, right? He can see every single action, trace it all the way back to its original seed, and then follow it all the way forward to the fruit it's going to bear, even across countless lifetimes. For these beings who live for eons themselves, seeing someone with that level of perception is just breathtaking.
And listen to the language here from the Deva Shinsheng Li. It's all about certainty. He isn't saying the Buddha thinks this is how it works. He's saying the Buddha sees it. He perceives the actual mechanics of the universe like it's an undeniable fact. There's just no guesswork. Zero.
And I love this part because it shows just how intimate this knowledge is. The Devaliki gives us this incredible simile. It's not some abstract, far-off knowledge. The Buddha's understanding of every single being's inner world, their habits, their potential, their struggles, it's as direct and obvious to him as you looking at your own hand.
So the huge point the Devas are making is this: the universe isn't just some random chaotic mess. It runs on these deep principles of cause and effect, and for the Buddha, those principles are as clear as day. But this understanding of causality is just the first step. From getting the rules of reality, the praise moves up a level to understanding reality's actual nature.
All right, so if that last part was about understanding the mechanics of the world, now the Deva's praise gets even deeper. This is about understanding the very essence of the world, and this is where things get really fascinating.
What they marvel at now is that the Buddha sees past the world that looks so solid and permanent to us. He sees its true nature, that it's fleeting, it's transient, and ultimately, it's kind of illusory. And this isn't some downer perspective, it's the absolute key to freedom from suffering. Just look at this comparison here. On the left, that's pretty much our everyday life, right? The world feels solid, our problems feel like they'll last forever, our pains and our joys feel incredibly real. But the Devas are praising the Buddha for seeing the reality on the right, a reality that's more like a dream or a magical illusion or an echo. It's there, you can perceive it, but it has no solid substance.
And here the Deva Wu Sote takes that dream idea and applies it to the biggest thing of all, the entire cycle of life and death. The whole journey of existence, with all its karmic ups and downs. The Buddha gets that it has the quality of a dream. It feels vivid while you're in it, but when you really look, it's not solid.
This is such a great analogy, really. The Buddha is like the master magician. He can see the illusion, he knows exactly how it's created, he can even play with it, but he is never, ever fooled by it. And that is what freedom is. The magician isn't stressed out by the tricks because he knows how they work. In the same way, when you see the world clearly, you're free from the suffering that comes from trying to hold on to things that were never solid to begin with.
So what happens when you combine a perfect, crystal-clear understanding of cause and effect with a direct vision of reality's true nature? Well, you get this absolute, unshakable confidence. And the Devas have an amazing metaphor for this: the lion's roar. The lion's roar isn't about being aggressive or yelling. It's a metaphor for the Buddha's teaching. It's a declaration of truth that is so powerful, so certain, and so right that it just silences all doubt, the same way a real lion's roar just commands the whole forest.
The Deva Vubu gives us this amazing mental picture. The Buddha stands in the world like a lion stands in the jungle, totally at ease with absolutely zero fear. So when he teaches, it's not some timid little suggestion. It's this powerful, confident proclamation of the way things really are.
And the effects of this roar are just huge. It's not destructive, it's transformative. It totally shatters mistaken ideas. It establishes the truth with an authority that no one can really argue with. It unlocks this great treasury of wisdom for everyone. And most importantly, it inspires other people to want to walk that same path.
Then the Diva Wu Wei adds this beautiful final layer. The roar isn't just from a lion, it's from the wisdom ocean. It suggests that this truth has a depth and a vastness that you can't even measure. This fearlessness comes from a place of just boundless understanding.
So after this whole cascade of praise for the Buddha's wisdom, his clarity, and his fearlessness, how does the story wrap up? It doesn't just end with the Devas thinking, wow, that was impressive. It ends with them being fundamentally changed by it.
And really, this is the whole point. The purpose of the lion's roar, the whole reason for sharing this incredible wisdom, isn't for the Buddha's own ego. It's all about awakening that same potential in every single person who hears it.
And there you have it. The Deva Chizan gives us the direct result. Billions, not a few, but billions of these celestial beings, after they hear this teaching, they are so moved and so inspired that they make a promise to themselves to attain that same enlightenment. The praise has become a catalyst for their own awakening.
You know, when we read these verses today, they're not just some dusty old religious text. They're kind of like a map. They point toward a completely different way of seeing the world, a way that's clear, deep, and fearless. They're an invitation, echoing through all this time, from those celestial beings directly to us.
And that kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. These divine beings were totally overwhelmed with awe for a wisdom that sees reality just as it is. In our own lives, which can be so complex and confusing, what might happen if we felt even a tiny fraction of that same awe? And where might that inspiration lead us?